Good morning, y'all. What up? Does the narcissist, do they miss you? Do they regret losing you? How is that going for them? Because you're just coming out of anxiety, depression, you're probably nervous, you've been beaten down and broken down, and you're probably trying to scramble. If you've been in a relationship with them for a long, long time with finances, they're never on your side. They're always the enemy. And when it comes to, say, in a marriage or a relationship, they want to destroy you. So keep that in mind if you ever want to go back to the narcissist. Okay, so what I wanted to say about this, do they regret losing you or missing you, or do they miss you? Yeah, they miss what you can do for them, okay, fine. But what I wanted to get on next is when you've been with them for 20 or 30 years, or you've been with them for a long time, now you got to understand the older they get, the worse they get. They can't keep that mask on than when they were 20 years old. The older that we get, we're into our 30s, 40s, and people don't put up with this kind of stuff like they did back then. And the narcissist is one of the same. They can't wear the mask like they used to because they don't have the energy, they don't have the time. Chances are if they've been with you, they get used to you and they get used to taking that mask off and slamming you, okay? And they can't do that with a new supply, a new source supply. You have to love bomb, and you have to love bomb for a long time. You have to turn them on in different ways. You got to drag them into your fake world, your fantasy. And so this love bomb and this devaluing and this discarding, it doesn't work as well the older that you get. Because I would say most of the people I'm talking to are probably going to be at least in their 30s. You know, we got an age thing going on, and it's not necessarily bad for us, but it's a bad idea for the narcissist because they have to continually go out there and get supply. They have to get sources. They got to lie to people now that are older and are more wise to things in the world. You're more naive when you're a child. When you get into your 30s, 40s, and you've been kicked a few times or you've been hurt and destroyed a few times, you wake up. Some people wake up and they ain't having it. So that knocks out a high percentage of people. A lot of them are married. That knocks out another percentage of people. A lot of people don't want to be with between a 5-year-old and a 13-year-old because that's what they are inside. They could be sometimes intelligent, logically to some degree, but they don't have any common sense. They're very volatile. And if you have any investments, somebody with investments would never want to be with a narcissist. But I'm saying it makes it harder. The older you get, you have more investments and you have homes. And if you're single and you're thinking about dating a narcissist, you start also thinking about, well, are they going to try to destroy me? Because we hear a lot of that in the media. Somebody leaves somebody and takes everything. You're in your 30s, 40s, 50s. You're concerned about that because you are concerned about a retirement at some point. You know, we don't hang out like we used to either when we get older. So a lot of times they're forced to go online. That's why they say they'll even have to go with prostitutes and street people. They're prostitutes themselves. So what's the difference? Just being with what they should be with. But anyway, I mean, listen, there's times where I felt bad for the narcissist, but after a while, you've been destroyed by them your whole life. And then you wake up, you gotta get to a point to where you're not really gonna have too much empathy for them anymore. Because, I mean, you do, in a sense, you do for their soul, but you can't fix any of it. You know you can't be with them, and if you could be with them, you're never going to have a smile. And the first time you put a smile on your face, they're gonna knock it off. I kind of sound like I'm mean right now, huh? It's like you can't have a good birthday, you can't have Christmas good, you can't have nothing good, man, with a narcissist. If you wake up with a smile on their face, they're gonna take it from you. They're gonna Grinch it from you. And that's the thing, when people talk about that every evildoer in movies that you see in the movie theaters and on TV, the nemesis, the thieves, the liars, killers, the destroyers, even in cartoons, they all reflect the narcissist. Who the hell wants that? I want you to stay strong because we gotta keep it moving to our best version of self, our 2.0. And to do that, we gotta get away from the narcissist. And to heal, we need to not think down some of these pathways because we don't wanna think weak, but we wanna think higher up and stronger. But when they go low, we go high. We can take the high road. This is the thing. The thing is, you know what they regret mainly is that they groomed you. You were groomed by your family, and then they caught on to it. They captured you. They entrapped you. They ensnared you. They wrapped that spirit of Python around you and put control over you. And that seduction with Jezebel. and that Leviathan and that squid. They have those spirits in them. They like to control you with them. And that's why a lot of times they isolate you if you're a primary source of supply. And it's not a good thing. So don't like pat yourself on the back because you were a primary source of supply, or you could be a potential. You don't want to be a potential. You don't want to be any of that. You don't want to know a narcissist. If we didn't ever meet a narcissist, we wouldn't need a channel like mine. We could be doing other things like planting flowers, planting roses. The last thing you want to do is to listen to all this stuff, to get all this knowledge, and then to go out there and go back to the narcissist. Many cycles kind of sometimes will happen because you're getting out of it. You are dealing with this trauma bond, but I want you to stay strong, and that's what I'm here to do. They want you to be malleable, and that's what you were. You were malleable because that's like a hammer that can bang you into changing what you look like, what they want you to look like. And that's why marrying the narcissist is a bad idea, because then you're starting to obey them. I hate that word when it comes to anything outside of God, but it's true. And this all gets back to stuff that happened in your past, probably led to this, but now that you know, it's on you. Will Smith said one time, it doesn't matter if your mother or father was an alcoholic. It doesn't matter. It was a shitty thing, what happened to you in your childhood, but it's on you now. It doesn't matter. It's shitty that it's on you, but it's on you. So what are you gonna do? Love you guys. But the mask starts to leak. They're like old. The mask starts to leak. They don't have time, don't have the strength to do this. They're getting older, so they don't even have their looks. It's hard for them to find new source of supply. The thing is they've been with you 20 or 30 years. They can come home and take their mask off and act like a complete ass to you, and you're gonna receive everything that they throw at you, or that's what you were doing. Okay, so that's a lot of what they missed, because they can't go out there and get that again. When they got you in the mid-2000s, if you've been with them for 10 years, the mask starts leaking out from the side stuff when they're trying to love bomb somebody. They can't even make it last. You have to love bomb somebody for a long time, for months, to get them locked in and trusting you and loving you, so that you can then put the hooks in them and then start acting stupid when you're a narcissist. And they can't go that long because they're getting older, and that stuff's been stacking up and they haven't been dealing with it. And now they have just more addictions. They have more hurt and pain, and they have more shame, and they just can't be better. It's just abuse, people. And they don't have the charisma, the gift of gab. They don't have all of that anymore. They don't have talents like they used to. They're made worse every day. They always say that they degrade, they more devalue, if you want to call it that, as they get older. But somebody had mentioned, what does it mean when they say they get worse? Like if you leave them and then they get you to come back, right? They hoover you back. And what does it mean by, what do they do to make it worse? Well, part of the reason that they make it worse is because whatever you did, if you were in a relationship with them and you lived with them and stuff, and you had ways of getting out, whether it was you saved up money secretly, or you did things behind their back because you had to protect yourself financially, just to keep things even with them. But when they find out about this, they're going to destroy you and try to take everything. They're really wicked like that. So when you go back to them, they know your tactics from before. So they know that they have to put an end to these systems that you used before, and they're going to keep a closer eye on you so that you can never leave. And that's part of how they make things worse on you when you come back. So that's part of it. The thing is also, you want the pain to end. They do miss your supply. They do. And they have a hard time getting that again, especially as they get older, if they've been with you for a long time. You can't work on anything with a relationship with a narcissist. It's just going to be brutal and more brutal. And if you want to get used to it and have them cheating on you, and you're going to have to be with a narcissistic relationship. And this is how the narcissist family acts too when you were growing up. It's kind of like a don't ask, don't tell. It's like people are doing stuff. I'm going to act like it didn't happen. It's kind of like some of those gangster movies you see where the woman would be with the gangster man and she can't ever say anything because she knows he's got all kind of girlfriends around town, but she's just lucky to be with him. And that's how they want you to be. They also want to keep total control over you, but they want free reign to do what they want. They want you to follow their instructions, and they want you to follow their rules, but they can't follow their own rules. Everybody says that. So that's the thing. You think you're in a relationship, they're in a situationship. You know, you think you're in a marriage, they're not. They're not. To them, you're just living together, just to make their life look like the rest of the world's lives. Okay, but the last thing you want to do is get married to a narcissist and move in with the narcissist, get your finances intertwined with the narcissist. And if, God forbid, if you can help it, don't have a child with the narcissist, because it's going to end. Every narcissist relationship that starts has an ending, and it's never good for you. They're in the third dimension, first dimension, We don't reside there. We don't ride like that. And so when you ride that low, you're dealing with very malevolent spirits. Don't worry about them. If you're getting better and you're getting healed up, you're not going to worry about them stalking you and stuff after a while, because they're just going to do it. But you're going to be like, when you get over them, and if they're stalking you and stuff, it's like, whatever. As long as it's not going to be aggressive. That's the other thing, is when they get new supply and stuff, they're more aggressive as they get older. And older people, man, when they're going on a date with somebody, you can't be like that with people that are older, typically. I mean, they did get people like us, but there's not many of people like us out there that would fall into these traps, not especially as older as you get. When you start doing good, though, and this is the thing they see when they're stalking you, when you start doing good, when you're happy, or you're with somebody else, somebody new, you know, down the road, you're dating somebody new and you're having a great, grand old time, man, like a relationship's supposed to be, because you're healed up and the person actually loves you. And you know that, you could see that. Well, they have a hard time with that. They want that because they can't have it. And that's kind of like how this child mentality is. They want you because now they can't have you. And like I said, it's always going to end with them wanting you and you knowing it, and you can't go back to them. Because the minute you go back to them, what happens? They don't want you anymore. I mean, it's like basically they're the hunter and you're the prey. That's how they look at things. Or like they try to get like targets, and they do target you. They do know what they're doing. I've listened to a lot of psychologists and therapists that speak on this, and they will tell you that. They get to where it's like the toy, you know, your mother says, hey, you know, hey, Frankie, share that toy with that guy over there, you know, the kid over there when you're little. And you'd be like, no, I don't want to. It's a brand new toy. I want it. And then if I can't have it, nobody can have it, and you break it. That's you. You're the broken toy. When that's what they want to do to you. They leave you and break you. And so that nobody could have you. And then they could come back, and when you're put back together, when you're that G.I. Joe that's been glued back together and it's dried and it's back to being strong again, you can stand it up. Then they want it back. Just to break it again. That's how they are. When they can't have you and you're doing great and you're doing better, then they get angry and hateful towards you. You're not going to try hanging out with them or being anywhere close to them, but I'm saying, like, if you were to run into them, they absolutely hate you because it's a narcissist injury just every time they think of you. So they will think of you for the rest of their life. They will regret it, but they're going to regret not you. So, you know, what's the difference, man? My point is let's not think about them at all, because that just makes everything weak. So yeah, they'll have anger and hate, and that turns to some sort of regret, which is depression feeling. They're going to get short on supply, and they keep getting worse. So when they get worse, you need more supply. And all supply does is keep them from going inside and seeing that behind the mask, there's nothing there. Could you imagine looking into yourself and knowing, oh my God, there's nothing there. I don't even have an inner voice. They just have a devil. That part's terrible, and I don't even know if they're in there anymore. There's some malevolent beings in there, and they're in hell already. And the malevolent beings are just using their traits, whatever was left with their logistical bodily functions. And they got to steal the energy to get real humanity type traits that they can wear for a short time. That's part of what I think is going on to some degree. And the body is almost what's looking at them. The mind will, all that stuff is just the humanity side of them that they can't deal with. And maybe just the function of the body, who knows? They die alone, they die in misery. And listen, this is the thing, the longer you're with them, the worse your traits are going to be. If you're with them 10 years, you're going to have traits from them. To some degree, you are getting malleable. You're going to be starting to mirror them a little bit. You're going to be looking like them when you get out for a while. You have got to heal, and you're a mirror image of the people you're around. And you don't want to be around toxic people, because you will become toxic. If you're away from them for a long period of time, this stuff will come off. But the other stuff could turn into you having addictions. Trust me, man, it's not good. At the end of the day, you want to save your soul when you leave this world and this earth, and you want to have, as much as you can, a legacy of goodness for the things that you did to help other people and to spread good news of the word. You don't mirror them, and that's all I got to say. Just, I don't want you to get weak thinking about, well, does the narcissist miss me? They miss you, but they miss you because they can't go out there and get it anymore. They miss you so that they can get you back under the same roof as you, get you nailed back down, not because they love you, but so they can abuse you. I mean, what is that? Is that what you want? Because that is not what life's supposed to be about. It's not what God put us here to do, but it is a test from God. And so we both know, you and I both know, whoever I'm talking out there, man or woman, or whoever, teenager, whoever, I don't know. If you go back to them, then you failed the test. And you don't want to do that with the Almighty. So put it to rest, put it to death. You got to be the best version of yourself. You will be the worst version of yourself, and you're going to continually go back. You're going to regress. Because if it was up to the narcissist, they'd have you sucking your thumb like a toddler if you gave them a long enough time. You'd have so much anxiety, you couldn't go outside and walk to the mailbox without them. That's how much control it'll put on you in anxiety and depression. You won't want to leave the house because you feel so bad and you feel so weak. Listen, man, I've been 10 years with somebody. I spent brutal every day in my good years, but that's okay. And then I had several others, man, and that's why I have this channel now. And I care. So I want to see you guys grow and never give the narcissist any of your time. We don't have to get them back. God gets them back. We don't have to do anything to get them to reap what they sow. They reap what they sow every day, and it gets worse. And when you completely detach from them, you completely de-web from them, you completely walk away from them, that's when they get the full brunt of the things that they've done to you. And a lot of times it is tenfold. Because they knew what they were doing. They knew they were brutally destroying you. It wasn't like they targeted you. It wasn't like you were a piece of meat. It wasn't like they did it and they didn't mean to, but it worked out in a bad way. And that's why they have a lot of people in their web, because when you were in the web with them, you're probably still in there energetically to some degree. That's why you got to detach and you got to heal to detach. But when you're in their web with them, they're reaping what they sow. You reap some of it. Your harvest is some of what they've sown because you were in covenant with them and you're energetically connected to them. They're corded to you to some degree. So you want to rebuke that. You want to cast it out, cast it down, get out of it, and quit that energy. And you want to, it's a long video. That's why as soon as you start dating them, it's bad for you already. You're already reaping what they're sowing. Because you know this is not normal. Things are breaking, you're losing money, you're unhappy, you're depressed, you're getting in fights with arguments with people, and just there's no blessing. You can't even pray. So anyway, give me a like, a subscription. I love you guys. Hey, soldier up every day, all the time. We out.